And here is the video.
The Gospel of John, distinct in its theological flavor and narrative structure from the synoptic Gospels, has long been a subject of scholarly interest and debate. Its unique portrayal of Jesus and the deep, often mystical language employed suggest influences that extend beyond the immediate Jewish Christian contexts. Notably, the text exhibits ideas that some scholars align with Gnosticism, an ancient religious movement emphasizing gnosis, or spiritual knowledge. This video explores the hypothesis that the Apostle John's inclinations towards Gnostic-like thoughts could have been influenced by external philosophical currents such as Philo of Alexandria, Middle Platonism, and Hermeticism, and considers the possibility that the Gospel itself might have been penned not by John himself, but by one of his disciples. Firstly, understanding the connections between John's writings and Gnosticism requires a grasp of what Gnosticism entails. Gnostics generally believed in a dualistic universe, comprising a perfect spiritual realm and an imperfect material world. Salvation, in this view, was possible through secret knowledge of the spiritual realm. Elements of this can be seen in the Gospel of John, where the emphasis on knowing God is paramount, John 17:3. Such themes are suggestive of a Gnostic influence, or at least a theological environment where Gnostic-like ideas were circulating. Philo of Alexandria, a Hellenistic Jewish philosopher, provides a possible link between John's Gospel and Hellenistic thought. Philo attempted to harmonize Jewish scriptures with Greek philosophy, particularly Platonism. His allegorical interpretations of the Hebrew Bible and his emphasis on the Logos, or the Word, as a mediating figure between the transcendent God and the material world, are remarkably similar to the Logos theology in John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It is conceivable that John or his disciples, familiar with Philo's works, adopted elements of his thought, particularly the concept of the Logos, adapting them within a Christian framework to articulate their understanding of Jesus Christ. Further weaving into this fabric of influences is Middle Platonism, which emerged slightly after the likely composition of John's Gospel, but reflected long-standing Platonic themes that were pervasive in earlier Hellenistic philosophies, such as those of Philo. Middle Platonism, which posited a single source of all existence known as the One, from which emanated the nous, intellect, and the world soul, parallels the Johannine concepts of God and the Logos. Although direct influence of Middle Platonism on the Johannine community is speculative, the Platonic tradition, emphasizing the transcendence of the divine and the mediation between the divine and the material through intermediate entities or logoi, might have shaped the theological reflections of John's followers. Hermeticism, another philosophical religious system of the early Christian era, emphasized an esoteric pathway to divine knowledge and featured dialogues between a teacher and a disciple about heavenly secrets. The semblance in form and content to the discourses in John's Gospel is intriguing. While Hermetic texts are generally dated later than the Gospel of John, the shared intellectual environment and the types of religious quest evident in both suggest a broader Hellenistic influence that includes Hermetic-like ideas. The possibility that the Gospel of John was authored not by John himself, but by a member of his community or a disciple also merits consideration. Early Christian writings, including those of the Church Fathers, suggest that John's teachings were preserved and elaborated upon by his disciples. This transmission might have allowed for the incorporation of additional philosophical influences, including those mentioned, as the original message was interpreted and expanded in light of contemporary intellectual currents. Moreover, the tradition of a school of John, where disciples gathered and further developed his teachings, supports the idea that the final composition of the Gospel could be the work of a disciple deeply influenced by both the apostles' original teachings and the broader philosophical discourses of the time. In conclusion, while the Gospel of John is fundamentally Christian, the potential influences of Philo of Alexandria, Middle Platonism, and Hermeticism, along with the possibility of its authorship being by one of John's disciples, illustrate the complex interplay of religious and philosophical ideas in early Christian thought. This blend of influences not only enriched the theological landscape of early Christianity, but also helped forge a unique narrative and theological identity as seen in the Gospel of John, one that continues to fascinate scholars and believers alike in its pursuit of deeper spiritual truths. If this resonates with you or you find it informative, please like, subscribe, comment, and share.